A very warm welcome to today's video lecture series, which will concentrate on the module 5, and today's lecture series is lecture number 50, which will focus upon the DAC, which is also called as digital to analog conversion. I, Professor Prasanna D. Kulkarni, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of ECE from KLS VDIT Halyard, is presenting this video lecture series. The contents covered in the previous lecture series have focused upon the reverse conversion, that is the analog to digital conversions, wherein we have different analog channels, and these analog channels were converted to the binary representation, which is a binary digit. And the basics of analog to digital conversions were being covered in the previous discussion series. The learning outcome after going through this video lecture series is that student will have a better understanding on the DAC block. In every signal processing aspect, this is one of the important blocks which is always used. As the processor always is meant to process a digital data, the processor will always produce the values in the form of binaries. But as we know, in real time, every signal is to be again converted to analog signal. Only then it becomes an audible signal. So therefore, for a processor, we give values in the form of analog converted to digital. It processes the data, and after processing the data, the result will be again in the form of digital. But we cannot understand the digital values as such, and again we want it to be in the analog mode. So therefore the DAC job is to convert the digital values to analog readable, understandable values. The previous video lecture series has focused upon the introduction to ADC 0804 chip and also the ADC 0808, which is much advanced than 0804. We have discussed about that. And also you have seen how to write an assembly level program and how to write a C level programs for both the ADC chips, that is 0804, and also for ADC chip of 0808. This entire video lecture series belongs to level 3 from Bloom's taxonomy level, which is called applying. So by understanding the knowledge of this DAC, we will be in a position to write programs and make the interfacing to happen between 8051 microcontroller and the DAC chips. So let us understand what is a digital to analog converter is all about. So for digital to analog converter, we always have a set of binary inputs. Okay, it may be a byte, or it is always in the form of 2 to the power of n, and we have a set of analog outputs. Okay, so here we have n number of inputs, but we'll have only one output, which is output will be an analog one. So DAC is one of the widely used device which will convert the digital pulses to analog signals. Analog signals to me it means it is either in current or it is in voltage represented. So all the binary bits you are representing in the form of a readable value in the form of a current, or it is in the form of voltage. Normally we prefer voltage to be one of the analog output signal. A DAC consists of number of binary inputs and a single output, as just now we have discussed. And in general, the number of binary inputs of a DAC will be always in the form of power of 2. So always 2 to the power of n will be the number of the digital inputs for this IC, and always it will have a single output, which is an analog output. Next, there are basically two types of DACs available in, and first one is called as weighted register DAC, which has a little bit poor resolution. Okay, and the second one is called as R2R ladder structure of DAC, which will again make use of the register, and it is considered to be more accurate when you compare with the weighted register DAC. So let us understand now what is resolution of DAC is all about. So always the resolution of the DAC is nothing but the number of binary inputs a DAC can read, and normally available DACs will have 8 10 and 12 bits of resolution. But the standard DAC will always have 8 bits of resolution. Throughout widely used DAC will have 8 bits. The number of data bit inputs decides the resolution of the DAC, since the number of analog output levels is equal to 2 to the power of n, where n is the number of data bit inputs which are used for ourselves. So normally we will always prefer for 8-bit resolution as such. Now let us see the different type of DACs which we have quoted just now. What is the binary weighted DAC? In this binary weighted DAC, it contains one resistor, or it is also called as the current source, for each bit. Suppose you have got 8 bits, then you need 8 resistors. 8 different resistors are required. Okay. And this DAC is connected to a summing point. So it is maybe called as the current summer circuit, which you studied in network analysis. So from every node the current will be passed, and that current will be summing at one particular end at a point, is such type of circuit. These precise voltage or current sum to the correct output value. So when the current gets added from these resistors, that will give you a precise value for the digital input. This is the meaning of this one. Okay, and this is considered to be one of the fastest conversion methods. It is very fast in conversion, but suffers from poor accuracy because of the high precision required for each individual voltage or current node. And therefore, even though it is considered to be faster, but it is not as accurate, and therefore we don't prefer binary weighted DAC as much unless and until we have more accurate values to be produced. Such high precision resistors and current sources are very expensive, framing a resistance of very low resistive values, okay, are having a very transient band of very smaller width is very expensive. So this type of converter is usually limited to 8-bit resolution or less than that. Normally 4-bit resolution can be used for this, but when the number of bits increases, definitely this will have more error. Outputs will be having more erroneous. Therefore, it is not preferred for large size of resolutions. The second one is called as R2R ladder DAC, which is a binary weighted DAC that uses a repetitive cascaded structure of the resistor values having R and 2R. Just an example, if a resistor is 1 ohms, in the other node the resistor value will be 2 ohms, and the same cascaded structure is used depends upon the number of digital binary inputs, and therefore it is considered to be the best for DACs. And most of the DACs, they always employ R2R ladder structure, and this improves the precision due to the relative ease of producing equal valued resistors. So in the previous binary weighted DAC, the structure will keep on increasing as R, 2R, followed by 4R, followed by 8R, 16R. Like this, the series will increase, and getting that precise resistors is very, very difficult. Whereas for the R2R ladder structure, the resistor series is always constant. That is nothing but R, 2R. And the same structure is repeated. That is called as cascading. And therefore, only 2 type of resistors are required, having one as R value, another resistor as 2R value. Depends on number of binary inputs. That ladder structure is in a repetitive mode, and therefore it is considered to be more ease. The structure is of very ease. And second one, however, wide converters perform slowly due to increasingly large RC constants for each added R2R link. It is obviously true that even though the structure is very easy, but the length also matters, because it is a cascaded structure, and therefore relatively they work slower when you compare with the previous architecture. So let us see the diagram of these 2 type of DAC structures. The first one, as we have discussed, called as binary weighted resistor DAC, which you can observe that V reference is a reference voltage value for us, and every bit is connected to one particular resistor. Like example is B2 is connected to R, B1 is connected to 2R, and B2 is connected to 4R, and I use a normal summing op amp circuit. Okay, and we have a reference voltage. Based on that output, an voltage is produced. That voltage is considered to be the value equivalent to the binary data. And also you can see in the waveform also how this the binary weighted resistor has produced the results with respect to the analog voltage that we have fed, and relatively we are getting better results, but it is limited to 3 bits. As the number of bits increases, you can observe that when you compare with analog data, your digital values will lag, or they will show very small values when you compare with analog, not even relatively touching to the analog values as such. Now coming to the second one called as R2R ladder. As you can see in the circuit, that instead of having repetitive increased resistors, we are having same structures being repeated as R2R, R2R, R2R. This is a continuation, and every bit is fed with respect to the V reference values as B0, B1 and B2, and we have a standard reference resistors also, and we use an op amp which is connected in a inverting mode. So once you go through this inverting mode, it produces an equivalent value of V0 with respect to the binary bits. So as the length increases, obviously it suffers from the delay, that is called as RC time shifts. So this is one of the simplest structures for DAC, and R2R is more preferred structure for us. Now the IC format. The DAC is available in the form of an IC, and that IC number is 0808, and the digital inputs are converted to the current, that is I out. So all the digital inputs are converted to relatively into form of a current value, a measurable analog output value, and by connecting a resistor to the I out pin, we can convert the result to voltage. So ultimately we want is an voltage value equivalent to our digital values, and the total current I out is a function of the binary numbers at D0 to D7 inputs of the IC DAC 0808. So obviously we want that relatively the current should differ with respect to the binary inputs which are fed, and the reference current IREF is always kept at constant value. Normally we use it as a 2 milliamperes. It is a standard reference current which is used for comparison. Ideally we connect the output pin to a resistor, convert this current to voltage and monitor the output on the oscilloscope. But this can cause inaccuracy, hence an op amp is used to convert the output current to voltage. So we always use this op amp for converting a current to a standard voltage values. So please remember, this is an important point, how to convert a current to a voltage. The standard one is use op amp. This is the best solution for this. Okay, rather than connecting a Thevenin voltage and then calculating, instead of that we can use directly an op amp which will convert the equivalent current to a voltage values. And how do you calculate, how do you convert this? As I out is equal to I reference multiplied by D7, I think you know that this is MSB bit, so D7 by 2 plus D6 by 4, D5 by 8, D4 by 16, like that the number of bits increases. D0 is a LSB, that will be divided by 256. So always denominator is in 2 to the power of n order. Okay, as the number of bits increases, definitely the I reference is kept the same, that is 2 milliamperes, and it will generate an I out function. So you can take multiple examples and you can verify. Okay, you can take values for D0 to D7, put them into this function and get the current value. So you can observe that for a different decimal, for different binary patterns, you get different I out. So once this I out is generated, this is fed to the op amp, and that will convert this current to an voltage function, and that voltage is used for the representations. I think everybody have understood what is a DAC 0806 is going to do for us. So let us see the structure, how to interface the 8051 with respect to the DAC. As we know that 8051 produces a digital data, and a DAC IC will have readable digital inputs directly, and therefore we directly connect the output for P1.0 to 1.7 are directly connected to the inputs of DAC D0 to D7, and it uses a power supply of plus 5 volt, which is a DC. Then we have V reference plus 5 volt, and similarly V reference is connected to a ground, and it will have an output pin. This output pin is connected to the inverting terminal of an op amp. okay, with having a 5 kilo ohms as a reference resistors and is having a feedback path. This will produce an equivalent voltage by the op amp. So this is a simple structure available for interfacing from 80512 to the DAC 0808 IC. Now the important point here is to discuss about how to write programs for this one. Okay, so here we don't have any signals or we don't have any acknowledgements. Simply we have to write a program to feed the data and generate an output. This is what we have to do it. So let us go to the first program. Write an ALP to generate a triangular waveform. I think everybody knows what is triangular waveform, how it looks like. So it is a increasing ramp and it reaches to a certain peak value, and from there it is a decreasing ramp. Okay, so it is both increasing and decreasing with a standard some reference value. So how to make this possible? First of all, understand in digital FF is the largest value in 8-bit. So FF is the largest value. So FF is represented in decimal by 255. So you need to start from 0. You need to reach to 255. That will create an increasing ramp. Okay, successive increment is been done. So once you reach to that maximum 255 FF value, again you should do successful decrement. So 255 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1 and you will reach to 0. This will create a simple triangular waveform. So this idea has been used in to write a program. So move a comma hash 0 0. So accumulator is loaded with 0 0. Move P1 comma accumulator because P1 is connected to DAC 0 0. Just now you have seen in the previous diagram. Okay. So therefore we move data to port 1. So move P1 comma accumulator. Then increment accumulator. Accumulator is incremented by 1. Initially it was 0, now it becomes 1. So compare until accumulator reaches to a value 255. Till then this increment will happen. Okay, and unless it do not reach to that 255, okay, we will be in the same loop, that is compare jump if not equal. Okay, until unless it not equal, you should jump to the label, and the label is INCR. So ultimately what we are doing is this: accumulator is initially 0, increments by plus 1, compares it says that still I am not reached 255, again go for increment, and this increment will happen until you reach to 255. Okay, once it reaches 255, the loop gets broken and you cannot go to the label INCR, you will go to the next line. Now what is next line? Once again, move P1 comma accumulator. Now as you know, accumulator has already reached the maximum value. What is that? 255. So 255 is loaded to P1, right? Then instead of incrementing, now our job is decrementing. This is the reverse thing what we do. So decrement accumulator, again use the same loop. What is that loop now? Compare jump if not equal, accumulator to become 0. Okay, so now we have to come back to 0. So therefore comparing accumulator to become 0 from 255. This is nothing but a decreasing ramp for us. Okay, and again we use same decrement DCR as a label for this one. And once this both the loops are completed, we go to simply short jump, repeat this, because I don't want only one iteration to happen. I don't want only one triangular wave. I want this triangular wave to be continuous, and therefore I simply jump to the label. I hope so that you people have understood. Okay, so DAC is one of the simplest when I compare ADC. If anybody asks me which program would you like to write, I would say I would like to write DAC programs, because ADC has signals and I need to take care of the signals. But here I need to just simply send the data to port 1, nothing else to do. Okay. So now one more, write an ALP to generate a sine waveform. Sine is one of the standard waveforms we always use. Okay, and the equation for that sine wave is V out is equal to 5 volt into 1 plus sine theta. Now remember, this highest value in a sine wave is 255. Okay, maximum value is 255, and 255 is multiplied by 1 plus sine theta. 1 plus sine theta. Okay, so sine theta, where theta will increase by always 10 degrees. Okay, so my sine wave I need to produce for every 10 degrees I will get a value of sine, and I'll give it to my DSC to do this job. Okay, let us see the program, how to do it. So start with the program ORG00 initialization, move DPTR comma sine table. Now you can observe I have created a separate memory location to store some previous values, and those values are stored in a memory location ORG0300, and the name of that array is sine table, which is always in the form of dB. It is a byte. Okay, and I have written a value in decimal. I did not write here h. If I write h, it becomes hexadecimal. Okay, so when I take sine theta as 10 degrees, I get a value 128. 20 degrees, I get 192. For 30 degrees, I get 238. Similar like 40 degrees, I get 255. So sine wave, I think now we can imagine how the sine wave will be looking like. So phase from 0 to pi by 2, from pi by 2 to pi, then 2 pi by 3 pi by 4, then I got 2 pi. So through like this, we have 4 different phases. Based upon that, we have generated values for that. You can observe the sequence also: 128, 192, 238, 255. Okay, now it is a decreasing: 238, 192, 128. Am I right? Now this is a positive cycle. Now in the negative cycle, okay, from 128 is a standard reference line. From that 64. From 64, 17. From 17 it is to 0. Now 0, I am in 3 pi by 4. Okay, from there plus 17, 64, 128. Now it becomes 2 pi. I think everybody have understood now. Okay, this is how a sine waveform is generated, and that values are stored. My job is to only move these values to port 1. I think you have understood what the program is going to do for us. Okay, right. So move dptr comma hash sine table in the program. Move r3 comma hash count. Okay, here count is nothing but the number of samples I need to send. If you increase the sample, sine wave becomes more accurate. So put it for 5 degrees, you get more values obviously, but sine wave will be more accurate. Okay, this is what will happen. R3 will be used as a count, hash count, then clear accumulator. First clear the accumulator, then I use move c instruction because I have to read code. Move c a comma at the rate a plus dptr. So ultimately you will get the first value in accumulator. First value is 128. 128 comes in accumulator. Simply move that content to port 1. So move p1 comma accumulator. Very simple program. Then increment dptr. So every time you have to increment dptr. Okay, and djnz r3 comma up. R3 comma up. So until unless you have not finished the count, you have to get the next value from dptr. Okay, so once the count is closed, means one cycle is completed of sine wave, and you have to repeat the generation once again. I think people have understood this, how this particular program is used in assembly level programs. Okay, everybody understood how to generate sine wave. Next one, same thing, I want to do it sine wave generation but in a C program. Okay, some minor changes as far as syntax is concerned. So hash include reg51.h, then SFR. SFR I have to declare as a DAC data, which is port 1. So port 1 is referred by a name. The name of the port 1 is now DAC data. Void main is a function. Now there I use memory, ROM memory to store the content. Here I have to create an array, and the name of the array is unsigned character is a data type being referred, and the name of this is sine table. Okay, array name is sine table. And how many values I am going to place is 12 count. So array has a size of 12 values. That is the meaning of this. Then the values will be always in the flower bracket. So for array in C drive, C language, we always write in flower brackets. So assert the same values which we have referred just now into this table. Then unsigned character x is a variable which is used. While 1 is a forever loop. For x is 0, because in C language you get this is a ready-made operator. Okay, so for x is 0, x less than 12, x plus plus DAC data is equal to sine table of x. X will become 0, you get 128 in DAC data. X becomes 1, you get DAC data is equal to 192. So through the loop you are getting the value stored in an array. You are simply moving into port P1. This is one of the simplest DAC programs what one people can really write. So whenever you see a valuation of such papers, people I observe that they always get feared of writing DAC programs. Okay, but I would say that if anybody asks you DAC, then you are lucky, because these programs are the most simplest programs to write ever. Okay, so please remember this, DAC programs are the most simplest ones. So I think everybody have understood the DAC entirely, and you got a meaning of this DAC also. The various references which I prefer you people to read is Muhammad Ali Mazidi, Jason Gillespie, and also McKinley. Please refer to the DAC part from this, and also for more introduction on the IC, that is DAC 0808, you can refer to Kenneth Ayala, and for more information you can also refer to Manish K. Patel and also to the Raj Kamal. And with this I think we have finished all 50 video lecture series, and I have tried to see that everything is covered and it is delivered to you. I hope so that you people are understanding equally, and because this is the last video lecture series, I would definitely say that you people are definitely showing a good response, but please see that you people read them, try to understand them, and still you got any doubts, you just please try to make an interface with me and try to ask anything, doubts if you have been finding. Even I have got a mail available for you, please send me the mail if you didn't find any questions that you cannot answer from this. Okay, and with this video lecture series we have finished all available portion for this entire subject. If still you have got any difficulties, definitely we are always there for you. Thank you attending for this video lecture series. Thank you one and all.